Nat Turner and his rebellion. Background information. Nat Turner was born on October 2nd, 1800, and died on November 11th of 1831. He was a slave who spent most of his time in Southampton County, Virginia. He learned how to read and write at a very young age. Nat Turner was also deeply religious, and many people often saw him fasting, praying, or reading the Bible, and he frequently experienced visions which he believed were messages from God. Nat Turner knew little about his father because it is believed that his father escaped from slavery when Nat was a young boy, so he never really met him. Nat Turner received his last name from his owner, Benjamin Turner, and although Nat didn't know most of his family, he was able to stay close with his maternal grandmother, which they referred to as Old Bridget. Old Bridget was also owned by Benjamin Turner, which is how Nat was able to keep close with her. And she was part of the Akin people, which were known for holding slave results. Nat Turner was convinced that God had given him a task of slaying his enemies with their own weapons, and he believed that the enemies that God was showing him were the slave owners. In February of 1831, Turner believed that the atmospheric conditions were a sign that he should start to prepare for rebellion against the slave owners, and his preparations were postponed for more deliberation between him and his followers, and because most of his followers also became ill. On August 13th, there was another solar eclipse, so Turner began his rebellion on August 21st of 1831. The rebellion. On August 21st of 1831, Nat Turner began his rebellion. He first started with a few slaves that he trusted, and they traveled from house to house, killing many whites and freeing all of the African American slaves. The rebels did not want to alert anyone, so they murdered the whites by using knives, hatchets, axes, and blunt instruments instead of firearms because the firearms were loud. Soon after the start, there were over 70 enslaved and free blacks who joined the rebels. Nat Turner only confessed to killing one of the rebels' victims, and her name was Margaret Whitehead. Nat Turner chased her into the woods where she tripped and fell, which gave him the perfect opportunity to stab her with a fence post. Before the white militia was able to respond, the rebels had killed over 60 men, women, and children. The rebels spared few houses because Nat Turner believed that the poor whites thought no better of themselves as they did of Negroes. The rebellion suppressed after 2 days when the whites responded with over 200 black deaths. Capture and execution. Nat Turner eluded capture until he was found hiding in a hole on October 30th of 1831. On November 5th, 1831, he went for trial for conspiracy to rebel and making insurrection. Turner was convicted and sentenced to death. He was hanged on November 11th, 1831 in Jerusalem, Virginia. His body was flayed, beheaded, and quartered. 44 other slaves and 5 free blacks were tried in court for the crimes in Southampton. 30 slaves were convicted, which led to 18 being hanged and 12 were sold out of state. Of the 5 free blacks, 1 was hanged and the rest were acquitted. Consequences. The state executed a total of 56 blacks that were suspected of participating in the uprising, and nearly 200 blacks who were innocent were murdered. There were many anti-slavery movements that occurred afterwards, and many slave owners became fearful that their slaves would rebel just like Nat Turner. Rights were taken away from many of those who were also free.